And we called the place where we stayed at by the number in Verst, which is Russian mile. The number in Verst, 455, some sort. From the mile from Archangel, or rather back from place to place. We stayed in one place. Did our duty there. I don't know. How can I find it?
Although up to Kooyers, I was up to 13 weeks. But on the front, on the railroad front, they would move them up and then they'd bring them back. I eventually came back to Archangel and went on the railroad front, and we'd move up in what they call, in Russia, don't go by mile, they go by verst. We'd go and be verst 422, and maybe next day you'd be on 44 or something like that, where we could push them back.
Well, now we were down this railroad front. September, October, November, without any relief of any kind. And then we were told that we were, for Christmas present, we were going to be sent back to Archangel and give them 3-4 weeks rest back there. And they were going to send the White Russians up to take our place. Well, all right. They sent us back to Archangel. But we were only back to Archangel about 3-4 days. And they come around and ordered us back to the front lines again. So, in other words, they reneged on their promise to give us our vacation. And the reason we asked the reason for it, and they said they couldn't depend on the Russians up front. That is the reason that the men rebelled. And that's what they called the mutiny. See? Like on the railroad there, they burnt wood. Their locomotives, about 4-foot cordwood, you know. And about every 10 versts, well, a verst is about 2/3 of our mile, see. And about every 10 versts would be a little stream of water, and then alongside of that little stream of water would be a little village, see. And alongside of that little village would be all piles of cordwood for these engines that come along in there, see. And of course, there's where we would have our trouble, because these are Bolsheviks. They would dig in behind these piles of wood and behind these creeks, and they'd make bunkers and stuff like that, and so on and on. And they didn't have these villages and so on. You'd have to chase them out of these villages, and that was our job, going down the railroad, see.
Well, the railway line was roughly divided into 5 verst lengths, with a sort of station at roughly each 5 versts. These stations were primarily fueling stations. There was a small squad of men apparently stationed at each one who cut down wood, cut down the trees, chopped it up into suitable lengths and stacked it alongside the railway, where the engines would pick up what they wanted. Now, the Bolsheviks retreated from one to the other as they went back, and they set up their camps there, and we went along and made ourselves a nuisance by bombing them or see what was going on.
As a general rule, when any of these villages were outflanked or were attacked with artillery and stuff like that, and so the villagers would stay right inside their log cabins, and they lived for outside it all. And if one of those villages were outflanked, if we outflanked on villages and then entered the village or anything like that way, they'd still be there. They never evacuated the building. Not to my knowledge. You never see them leave the building, but I understand that it did happen a few times over on the railroad front.
Did you ever stay in a Russian family's home?
Russian home?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did they react to your presence?
Pretty good.
They friendly?
Yeah, they was friendly. I do recall many of the homes where the kids slept on top of the fireplace, and they housed pigs under the kids. So there's pigs and kids in the same house.
Never shake it here.
It seemed hard to believe, but it's hard to believe it too. But in Russia, I can't think too much of, recall too much of anything special, except that it was very cold, and all the vegetation there was forest, and the railroad front, which we were operating on, was right through the forest, and those were virgin timber. Oh, maybe they were 50, 60 feet high, and real thick. It wasn't planted. It was just virgin.
And then we moved a few miles into the forest, and that's where the fun started. I must tell you this, I'll never forget it. If I like to be 100, I will never forget this first adventure. Never. Because once we went in the forest, it was tension. We were tense all the time. Well, I was. You didn't know where you were. Thick jack pines. Thousands of them. A few what trees.
The patrol, what sort of countryside were you patrolling through? Was that sort of through the pine forest? Did you encounter...
Wonder we didn't lose ourselves. But we were on that business for quite a while. And we did a number of patrols round, you know. We used to go out on patrols, seeing if Bolo was trying to establish himself in any particular area.
During the winter, there wasn't very much action during the winter. It was full weather and stuff like that. Patrol action, we had patrol action, so we sent out patrols, and a squad of men, 7, 8 men, every day. We'd make a patrol of 2-3 miles or something across the front line, and then come back in.
One guy up there, I didn't see it, heard about it, where one guy had his both feet froze, that they had to amputate both feet. Now that's all I know about. That's what I read. That he had to, both feet frosted, that he had to amputate both feet.
Why do you think that happened?
If I remember right, I think he was lost out in the woods for a bit and didn't get back till the next day. And I think that's the way that happened. I'm not sure. All I know about that, just rumors that we heard about that.